Right. Problem 10 of 2024 AMC 8. As we mentioned before, higher problem number generally corresponds with more difficult question. So problem 10 is a medium difficulty question for AMC 8. Not as hard as like 21 to 25, but pretty. I would say for newcomers, for new people who are taking AMC, it's a pretty challenging question. So for this question, let's first look into why it is hard. Let's take a look. In January 1980, the Mauna Loa Observatory recorded carbon dioxide levels of 338 ppm parts per million. Over the years, the average CO2 reading has increased by about 1.515 ppm each year. What is the expected CO2 level in ppm in January 2030? Round your answer to the nearest integer. So for this question, it's a very typical medium difficult question because it has a lot of words that are not familiar for most students. Like, what is this observatory? What is this like ppm? What is this like expected level in ppm? So if you meet those kind of big words problem, okay, in AMC 8 or other math contests, the key strategy is ignore those big words. I will spend some time in the end of this video to explain what is this ppm, what is the CO2 level, why does it matter, but from a problem solving perspective, it's a unit. So ppm is a unit. You have something in Jan 1928, 1980, which is 338 ppm. And again, ppm is just unit. It's just, treat it as meter, kilogram, whatever you want to treat it as. Just remember, it's a unit, ppm. And then they're saying every year this number increased by 1.1515. Now, they are asking you in January 2030, which is 50 years from January 1980. So in 50 years, how much does this CO2 level increase? Well, every year it increased by 1.515. So in 50 years, it should increase by 1.515 times 50. And you can do this calculation and you would find this is equal to 75.75. Starting from 338, increase by 75.75, and again, they ask you to round your answer to the nearest integer, so you can see it's approximately 76. And then what you need to do is 338 plus 76, and that is going to be equal to 414 ppm. So the answer is B. Now, you'll probably realize for this question, if you just treat ppm as a unit, sort of ignore it, it's actually not that difficult. The calculation 1.15515 times 50 is okay. So remember, the strategy is don't get scared by those big words. If it's a unit, it's a unit. Now, you might be curious, what is the CO2 level ppm? So this concept is related to global warming. When you hear this news about sea level increases, the earth is getting hotter every year, the main reason is because of this CO2, carbon dioxide. CO2 is a very special molecule. When it exists in the air, it would basically absorb the sunshine and keep it to the earth. And because of that, when you have a lot of CO2, the earth will get hotter. And by the way, you will probably notice it's also necessary to have the CO2 because if you don't have CO2, the earth will be too cold. So, over the years, the CO2 level has been pretty stable. But since industry revolution, people observe that CO2 level is increasing because we burn a lot of fuel. That's why you heard about those new energy, renewable energy, energy that doesn't really produce CO2. And then ppm, parts per million. The way to think about this is you take a bunch of air and if you cut it into a million pieces, then each part is one part. So this 338 ppm is sort of saying you take air, you cut it into a million pieces, and 338 parts or 338 pieces are those CO2 stuff. That's it.